What is up, awesome people of the internet? And welcome to another episode of Women's Basketball Weekly, your weekly source for all things women's basketball. Y'all, we got some big stuff to talk about, from the NCAA to the WNBA to EuroCup, and we got some good history to share with you as well. So let's get into it. And as usual, we start with upsets. Yesterday, Cotie McMahon and the Ohio State Buckeyes gave Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes the business, winning in overtime 100-92. This game was played at Ohio State, and y'all, the fans came out. 18,000 fans plus attended this game. This was the largest crowd ever for a women's college basketball game at Ohio State.
Over 18,000 in the arena. Tons watching. I mean, what was it like to be a part of this, Cotie?
It's a blessing. We've had a lot of accomplishments the past 2 years, and this goes for one of them too. But at the end of the day, like we really just had each other, and playing an atmosphere like this together, and everybody on the same page, it was really cool. It was really a really great blessing.
And the game itself was pretty neck and neck throughout. And it wasn't until overtime where Iowa missed some huge three-pointers and Ohio State scored on their end, and that was the ball game basically. But before that, this game was back and forth. Iowa went on some runs earlier in the game. Ohio State went on some runs, and then when it all shook out, Ohio State came out on top. For Ohio State, they ran on their engine, and her name is Cotie McMahon. This girl had the best game of her college career, going for a double-double, 33 points and 12 rebounds. And y'all, it was clear that she was able to get to whatever she wanted to get to on the offensive end. And she couldn't be stopped, regardless of how much Iowa fouled her, and regardless of whether it was called or not. Cotie McMahon balled out. And we saw glimpses of what I saw, at least as a freshman, for Cotie. Cotie is in her sophomore year. She's 6 foot. And she's a player who can just absorb physicality and still be able to get to the basket and get her shot off. Like, she is just such a special player. Her game speaks for herself. And the thing that I like the most is that she wasn't really playing her best basketball before this game. She wasn't. The last several games, she hasn't, been her usual scoring self. And it was like she decided, okay, this is the game. I know all eyeballs are watching in this game. This is the game that I am making my comeback to being the most dominant player on this team. And y'all, she did her thing. She did her thing.
Yeah, honestly, as we know, I've been struggling the past couple of games, but I kind of knew this game, my team needed me no matter what, and we refused to lose this game, so I knew I had to do everything that I could, just as far as rebounding, being a good teammate, making sure I got the good looks, the good passes and stuff like that. So that's really all I was focused on. The atmosphere was great. Obviously, having good energy around me helped me kind of keep that going, but just kind of playing for my team, that's really what motivated me.
And for Cotie's efforts, she was named the Naismith Trophy Player of the Week. And for Ohio State, it wasn't just Cotie McMahon doing her thing. You had J.C. Sheldon, who showed up as well, finishing with 24 points on the game. And Ohio State, they showed their fans that, hey, if y'all come out, we're going to show y'all some good basketball. So I really, really hope that those 18,000 plus fans attend a future Ohio State game.
How big a win is this?
It's a huge program. Yeah, I think it's a huge win for the program. We beat an incredible team with one of the best players to ever play our sport, and we did it in front of 18,000 people. And so hopefully the significance is hopefully we can really build on that with the momentum with our program this season, but in general. We had a lot of recruits here, I think, and loved the environment and the atmosphere. It was on NBC, so we came into this thinking this was an incredible opportunity, and we capitalized on it.
For Iowa, this was a scoring battle, and they just couldn't hack it in overtime. They just couldn't handle it, basically. And really, this game severely exposed Iowa's lack of defense. They just kind of let Ohio State kind of get whatever they wanted. and you cannot allow your opponent to run up the score that much. And overall, this Iowa team on defense, they just didn't look like the team that played Indiana a couple of games ago. In terms of offense, they scored. Caitlin Clark continues her scoring rampage. She had 45 points in this game, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. Iowa is now 18-2 on the season, and they play Nebraska on Saturday. Ohio State is now 15-3 on the season, and they play Illinois on Thursday. And I should also mention there was a collision between Caitlin Clark and a fan post-game. I did make a video about that separately, so if you want to watch that video, you can just click right up here. Also, I do want to say thank you so much for all the people who have given me feedback. For the folks who agreed with my premise and the folks who were like, no, you were way off on this opinion. I do appreciate it. Like, I think when you all make comments and whatnot, even if you think something contrary to what I said, I do appreciate when you share your arguments, because it kind of changes my opinion about stuff as well. So I appreciate that. So always let me know your opinions about stuff I talk about in the comments, whether you agree or disagree, because I love it all and I appreciate it all. Another big upset that I wanted to talk about from this past week included Alissa, Pili, and the Utes defeating Juju Watkins and the University of Southern California, 78-58. Now, I don't know what Alissa has against teams with USC in their name, but earlier this year, Alissa gave South Carolina the business, and she did the exact same thing Friday against Southern Cal. She finished with a super efficient 37 points, going 5 of 6 from the three-point line and 13 of 16 overall. Y'all, she was balling. And she couldn't be stopped by any of USC's bigs.
Like, being on a team like this, it's really easy to just go out there and play and not really worry about, my stats and my points or whatever. But, it's just props to my teammates for finding me, for creating shots for me and things like that. So, it feels good to have a high scoring game, but I'm always give credit to my teammates, because they're the ones that, my point guards and my guards are the ones who help me do that and achieve that. So.
And for me, I think as a coach, it's fun to have a player like Alissa. I think what separates her, though, obviously everyone sees her talent and her ability. She wants to win, and she wants her teammates to do well. She's not trying to get hers. So I think she knew, for us to win, she's got to produce, but it's about winning with her. And when your best player is about winning and not about themselves, then that's when good things happen.
And for USC, they were pretty much off. They had Juju Watkins. Yes, of course, she scored the basketball. She had 26 points in this game, but it wasn't enough because she needed more of her teammates to step up, and they just didn't do it. And USC didn't have enough to get the dub over Utah. So they lose this game, and they continued to lose going into the weekend. They lost to Colorado on Sunday, 63-59, and are now 13-3 on the season. USC's next game is on Friday against Washington State. Colorado went 1 of 1 on the weekend, losing to UCLA 76-68 and beating USC. And they are now 16-2 on the season, and their next game is against Oregon State. NC State lost in a stunner of a game against Miami. The then number 4 team in the country lost to unranked Miami 73-59. Now, you know the saying that anyone can get got? Yeah, Miami showed up to this game on a mission to show that they can hang in the ACC and to show that their last several games were a fluke. They lost 4 out of their 5 last conference games, and they were not about to lose this game against NC State. They had their foot on the gas since tip-off. They had a 21-10 run, and NC State, yes, they did try to forge a comeback, but they just didn't have enough to get the dub. Players of the game for Miami included Jasmine Roberts, Cheyenne Day-Wilson, and Lachey Dwyer, who all shot the ball very efficiently, scoring 18 points each, and all of them had some huge 3-point buckets in this game as well. Miami is now 12 of 5 on the season, and they continue their ACC play this Thursday against North Carolina. NC State had a bad taste in their mouths, and in Sunday's game against Duke, they did their thing, beating Duke 72-57. And they did that off the backs out the back of Isaiah James. Isaiah James had the best game of her career, scoring a whopping 33 points and grabbing 8 boards. NC State is now 16-2 on the season. A couple of things to note that happened this past week included some major injuries. Stanford's Cameron Brink went down in Friday's game against Oregon. She left the court limping, heading to the locker room. She eventually returned to the game, but sat on the bench for the rest of the game where she was ruled out. She had an x-ray and has been listed day-to-day ever since. She was in street clothes in yesterday's game against Oregon State, and after the game, she addressed her injury.
I was thinking that you were going to put Tara on your back for a minute, maybe pick her up, but you chose not to, which is good. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm feeling much better, so just taking it day by day. But yeah, Caitlin, our trainers, I'm in great hands.
Now, in terms of what this means, I think it depends on how long Cameron is out. Stanford's next 2 games is against Arizona State and Arizona, which are pretty winnable without Cameron Brink. So Stanford should probably be fine. But as Stanford plays top of the table teams, including USC and UCLA, they will likely need Cameron on the court. Now, one thing is for sure about Stanford is that it's not just Cameron Brink who's been dominant in the post. Kiki Ira-Offin, y'all, has been amazing all season. Again, I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again. If there was a Most Improved Player of the Year award, in my opinion, it would be going to Kiki Ira-Offin, who has just transformed herself from last year to this year. She actually leads the team in points and rebounds with 18.4 points a game and 10.8 rebounds. In the game against Oregon State, Kiki did her thing with 36 points and 12 rebounds. It is safe to say that Cameron being out is okay, at least for the time being, because Stanford is in good hands with Kiki until Cameron is back. Y'all, they need to give Kiki Ira-Offin an All-State commercial because she literally, is Stanford's in good hands with her. I don't know. That was a weird segue. I don't know. I thought that was clever. The All-State, good hands, Kiki Ira-Offin, but maybe that was a bit too cheesy. Anyway, as I said, Cameron is day to day, and she may be back on Friday for Stanford's next game, or she may be back the following week. We don't know. But one thing's for sure is I will keep you all posted on what happens with Cameron Brink. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on the injury and how you think Stanford will fare without her, again, in the comments. And now that we are on the topic of Stanford, Coach Tara VanDerveer is now the winningest coach in NCAA history.
When I was a young girl, I loved the game of basketball from the 3rd grade on. My parents would say, Tara, come in and do your algebra homework. Basketball is never going to take you anywhere.
I want to be a coach that our players want as a coach. I want to be someone that they want to play hard for, that they want to work hard for, and they want to please. That's my goal all the time, to be a great coach for them. The people in the locker room, that's who I work for. Success is a group project. I challenge myself daily to give back to the game by being a positive teacher, encouraging mentor, and passionate guardian of the game I love. play for each other. It's about them.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tara VanDerveer.
On Sunday, she passed former Duke men's coach Mike Krzyzewski as the leader of the wins race. She racked up a total of 1,203 career wins as a head coach. After the game was over, there was a display that Stanford did. They had a presentation featuring former coaches, former players, and fellow coaches around the country to talk about how amazing Tara has been in her career and just how momentous this occasion was. Again, getting that 1,203 win.
Well, first of all, I am very overwhelmed, and I'm not usually lost for words, but it's pretty impressive, you know, like all these people here and all the former players coming back. I guess first I would just say, when I was a little girl, I loved basketball from the 3rd grade on. I have no idea why, but my parents did not share that. They told me, Tara, forget basketball. Basketball will never take you anywhere. And I just, you know, I would send them postcards from all over the world, but I love the game of basketball. I love the game of basketball. And what's really special for me is seeing, you know, I didn't get to play very much. I mean, I played pickup and I was not very good. I would not want to coach myself. I was not ever in shape. I could not shoot. But I love the strategy of it. And to be able to coach women and see, like, again, like, what a great game Kiki had today. To be able to take a young person to a place they couldn't get to by themselves. And I'm so proud of our team and how hard we've worked and how much better we can be. When we break a record, it's a good sign because we broke a record in 2021 and won in 2021. So we got to keep it going.
Y'all, Tara has been in the game for a long time, y'all. She is 70 years old and has coached for 3 different schools as a head coach. She was first at Idaho, and then she went to Ohio State, and now she is in her 38th season at Stanford. Over her time coaching, she has won 3 national championships, 14 Final Fours, 25 Pac-12 regular season titles, and 34 trips to the NCAA tournament. That's just amazing, amazing, amazing stats. And the thing that I like the most about Tara VanDerveer is that she has evolved quite a bit. Like, she loves the game, clearly, but she still shows herself relevant to her players at 70, as she did when she was 34 coaching. You know, I think it's kind of remarkable how Tara has evolved with the times for women's basketball. So congratulations to Tara VanDerveer for a huge, huge, huge accomplishment. There's a lot of people who have been coaching, but nobody besides Tara can say that they have won 1,203 games. Tara VanDerveer has been an amazing, amazing coach. Never was a player, but an amazing X and O's coach who was able to develop talent. And she basically put the Pac-12 on the map for the last several decades. Stanford has been the epicenter of Pac-12 basketball, and now we're seeing the benefits of Pac-12 basketball with lots of Pac-12 teams dominating in the NCAA. I would say that some credit for the other team's successes comes from Tara VanDerveer and how successful Stanford has been and how it has gotten other programs to invest more in their program. So shout out to Tara VanDerveer for, again, that 1,203 career wins as a head coach. If you're curious about the top 3, here you go. It is Tara VanDerveer at the top, followed by Coach Mike Krzyzewski and Gino Auriemma. Now, it's assumed that whoever retires first, either Gino or Tara, will then eventually become the number 1 winningest coach in NCAA history. But the person who will eclipse everybody will be Dawn Staley whenever she decides to retire. You know, she's going to be coaching in women's college basketball for a very, very long time. And I'm sure she's going to eclipse this number because she has been dominating for South Carolina. And I see no reason why she wouldn't continue to do this in the future. In other basketball news, K-State's Ayoka Lee is out for 4 weeks following an ankle surgery. Last Thursday, the team took an MRI that showed a small ankle fracture. And the good news is that she had successful surgery done on Friday to fix the fracture. And the rough timeline for her return will be 4 weeks. And overall, this is a huge loss for K-State because Ayoka Lee has been K-State's best player by far on the court. She's averaging 19.8 points a game and 8.2 rebounds. And, you know, she has dealt with injuries in the past. Last year, she had a year-ending knee injury. And while the team will struggle without her for the next month, the good thing for K-State is that she will be back, at least tentatively will be back by the end of the season, and will be able to help Kansas State make a run in postseason play. I'm curious, guys, what are your thoughts about Ayoka Lee's injury, and how far down do you think K-State will fall in the rankings in both the Big 12 and the NCAA? They are currently number 1 in the Big 12 with a record of 18-1, and they have some huge games against Baylor and Texas. So the question is, can they hang without their best player? We'll see. This Monday, in advance of South Carolina's game versus Kentucky, Vice President Kamala Harris visited the Gamecocks and spoke at their shoot-around.
Sometimes I think increasingly people kind of have it upside down and think the sign of strength is based on who you beat down. When you guys know the sign of your strength is based on who you lift up. And you lift up your teammates, you lift up your classmates. When the people are in these stands watching you, be they parents or students or kids, you're lifting them up. When people are out here saying, ah, or they're saying yay, or they're saying all of the things that they say in response to the game, you're lifting them up with a sense of joy about being a part of a community. And we need that in our country, to know we're not in this alone and that we're all in it together and that we're a community of people. And so I'm very proud of you guys.
And the thing I wanted to note as well is that Dawn Staley also gave Kentucky the opportunity to meet with the vice president as well. And regardless of how you feel about Kamala Harris, you have to admit that it is pretty cool that she decided to stop by and chat with the teams. It's for sure a memory that both teams will likely never, ever forget.
But she chose to come to speak to not only our team, but she spoke to Kentucky, wanting to speak to Kentucky, like wanting them to, you know, and I think her reach is really far. I wanted our players to feel that and understand that they can do the unimaginable, but doing the unimaginable, you take hits for it. Like I'll probably take hits for the post. I'm gonna post some more because I got a cool picture of her, of her and I. I mean, who wouldn't want to meet her? Probably some other people that's gonna post under my picture, but seriously, like wherever you draw the line politically, you wouldn't want to meet the Vice President of the United States. You wouldn't want to meet the President of the United States. I mean, it's not that deep. Like these are experiences that not very many people get. I'm glad our players got a chance to experience her.
Now for some quick hits. Virginia Tech beat Clemson 74-62. The player of the game was Elizabeth Kitley, who is continuing to be very, very good on the offensive end, scoring 31 points and 8 rebounds. North Carolina defeated Louisville 79-68. The player of the game was Deja Kelly, who finished with 23 points and a bunch of free throws. Virginia beat Florida State 91-87. Freshman Kimora Johnson had a whopping 35 points in this game. Y'all, she's showing y'all that she here. And it's not just about the other freshmen. Kamala Johnson wants y'all to pay attention to her as well. She has been balling. She has been balling for Virginia. And Notre Dame beat Wake Forest 75-56. And freshman Hannah Hidalgo continues her 20-plus scoring with 21 points in that game. For the SEC, Ole Miss beat Georgia 69-59. Tennessee beat Vanderbilt 73-64. And Coach Kelly Harper got her 100th career win. She has a lot to go to catch up to Coach Tara VanDerveer. South Carolina beat Texas A&M 99-64. And LSU beat Arkansas 99-68. And Auburn beat Alabama 78-65. Now to linger on the Auburn game for just a hot second. This game, Auburn retired DeWanna Bonner's jersey.
At this time, would you please direct your attention to the rafters?
DeWanna Bonner was phenomenal at Auburn, and it was kind of cool that she was able to basically spend the weekend at Auburn, hanging out with people. Lots of photos, lots of videos about it. If you want to check out the Connecticut Sun or Auburn's social media accounts, you'll be able to see all the stuff that DeWanna Bonner did. And then that all culminated with DeWanna Bonner getting her jersey retired. For the Big Ten, I have a huge shout out to Ashley Owusu, who has been dominating since her return to the basketball court. The last 3 games she has played in, she's averaging 19 points and 5 rebounds, and Penn State is on a 3-0 run. Kind of makes you wonder how much better Penn State would be if Ashley Owusu was actually able to start the season. Scary times for Penn State, so y'all better watch out if y'all playing Penn State in the future. Ashley Owusu means some business, and overall, Penn State, they're looking pretty good. And for those who don't know, we are in the midst of We Back Pat Week. We Back Pat Week started this week, and it is a SEC initiative focused on bringing awareness to the fight of Alzheimer's disease and how the Pat Summit Foundation is working on fighting that. The color of the foundation is purple, so you probably saw some of the t-shirts that the SEC players wore yesterday. And there have been some efforts on the SEC's part to increase the awareness of the Pat Summit Foundation, both in the arena and in coverage. If you watched ESPN yesterday for ESPN or the SEC Network yesterday, you probably saw some of the coverage around the Pat Summit Foundation. Now, I will have a future segment about the greatness of Pat Summit. But for those who don't know, Pat Summit is the GOAT of women's college basketball coaching or coaching in general, basketball coaching in general. And she lost her life due to Alzheimer's and dementia. All right, on to WNBA talk. Free agency is officially underway, y'all. Teams are now able to start talking with free agents as of yesterday, though nothing can be officially signed until February 1st. And the comments about what is going to happen has been all over the place. So let me know your predictions on who's going where in the comments below. The WNBA has announced their 2024 WNBA Player Marketing Agreement cohort, which features the Seattle Storm's Jewel Lloyd, Arike Ogunbowale of the Dallas Wings, the Atlanta Dream's Ryan Howard, Aaliyah Boston of the Indiana Fever, and Shakira Austin of the Washington Mystics, who is still rehabbing from hip injury. And we finally have Brianna Jones with the Connecticut Sun, who is also rehabbing with a torn Achilles. The PMA, as I will call it for the rest of this video, it was created in 2020, a part of the WNBA Collective Bargaining Agreement. And in this agreement, the players basically go on a press tour for the WNBA in the offseason. And in return, the players can make up to $250,000 each. The big goal is to make the WNBA more visible and make the players more of a household name to the average fan. Now, the idea of using players in this way has been around for a long time, well before the CBA. According to the Next Hoops, back in the day, big name players like Lisa Leslie and Swin Cash signed service agreements where they did additional marketing for the WNBA, And you cannot forget in 2019 when Breanna Stewart missed the WNBA season due to a torn Achilles, the league paid her and decided to make her a paid ambassador. They made up the position for Breanna Stewart, and basically they formalized the agreements of the past with this PMA. The program officially kicked off in the fall of 2021, and they had 3 players participate, and the cohort has grown ever since. The 2024 cohort recently had a 2-day photo shoot and media day in New York City, where they filmed commercials, collaborated with brands, and overall, I think this is a great thing for the WNBA to have these cohorts. It allows players the opportunity to stay in the U.S. during the offseason, still make some money, and it also allows the opportunity for some players who aren't as well known to be able to increase their exposure, which is great. Also, it helps the exposure of some of the lesser known teams as well. So all in all, great things to say about this program. But one thing I will say is that there was a missed opportunity because there was no one from the Aces or Liberty that is participating in the 2024 cohort. Like, to me, that was a huge missed opportunity because the Liberty and the Aces provided some of the best moments of the WNBA last season. And to not have anybody participate, I think is just wild. Like, having someone like a Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, Jonquil Jones, Sabrina Ionescu participate in this would have made sense and may have even generated more interest from the media due to these players being on the hottest WNBA teams. To me, that was a missed opportunity. But let me know what you all think about the 2024 cohort. And we got some commercials to look forward to and some brand activations to look forward to as well, featuring some of those players. So let's keep our eyes out on that. So let me know what you all think about that in the comments below. Also, if you are enjoying this video so far, if you could hit that like button, that would be amazing. All right, moving on. Jasmine Thomas has made news recently announcing that she is retiring from the WNBA after playing in the league for 13 years. Jasmine Thomas is 34, and she came to the league from Duke with the 12th pick in the 2011 draft. She was drafted to Washington originally, where she played there for 2 years, and then she moved over to Atlanta, and then moved over to Connecticut, which most fans of the WNBA probably remember Jasmine Thomas from the 8 years that she spent in Connecticut. She then followed her coach, Kurt Miller, to the LA Sparks last season. Her accomplishments over the years include being a WNBA All-Star in 2017, and also being on the WNBA All-Defensive Second Team. She's a player who defense was her ethos. Like, it really was. She wasn't that big of a scorer, but defensively, she could lock in. Over her career, she averaged 24.9 minutes a game, 9 points a game, and 3.5 assists a game. She finished her career with 3,437 career points and 1,314 assists. And it wasn't long before we found out what Jasmine's new adventure was. And it turns out she is staying in the WNBA, but this time she is going to be a coach. Jasmine will be joining the Dallas Wings as the Director of Player Programs and Development Coach. In the press release, Jasmine Thomas said, "I'm excited to join Dallas Wings, the Dallas Wings organization, in a unique role that aligns with my passion for empowering athletes on and off the court. I'm looking forward to working with a fun group of dynamic players alongside Greg Bibb, Amber Cox, and Coach Trammell, and the Dallas Wings staff to bring a WNBA championship to Dallas." All right, guys, that is the news. Do you all have any comments about Jasmine Thomas deciding to retire and become a coach? And Wings fans, I want to know what you all think about your new coach. Let me know in the comments below. And in other Dallas Wings news, Ayoka Lee has decided to take the 2024 WNBA season off.
Dallas Wings fans, unfortunately, I won't be with you for the 2024 WNBA season. I'll be taking some time off for personal reasons and to take care of my physical health. I wish the Dallas Wings a great upcoming season, and I hope to see you guys soon.
For this week's In the History Books, we're going to talk about the first female Globetrotter, Lynette Woodard. She was born on August the 12th, 1959 in Wichita, Kansas, and from a young age, basketball appealed to her. Her brother taught her how to play the game, and she would then grow to become a 6-foot guard that would attend the University of Kansas. And at the University of Kansas, she was a 4-time Kodak All-American, averaging 26.3 points a game. And when she left college, she left as the all-time leading scorer in women's college basketball with 3,649 points. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, wait, hold up. I thought that Kelsey Plum had the record for the all-time leading scorer, and she has less points than that. Well, yeah, you're right. When Lynette played in college, this was pre-NCAA. So that's why the NCAA does not recognize her points. So yes, in general, Lynette scored more points than Kelsey Plum, but Kelsey Plum is the all-time leader for NCAA women's college basketball scoring. So hopefully that helps. In terms of the record, she was a baller. Record or not, this girl could ball. And she continued playing basketball after college. She was a 2-time Olympian and captain of the 1984 U.S. Women's Olympic team that won gold. Lynette played some time overseas, playing in Italy and Japan. She also became the first ever female Harlem Globetrotter in 1985. Also, she made history as the first ever female to play on a professional men's basketball team in America. Now, whether or not you consider the Harlem Globetrotters a professional basketball team is another thing. Now, one thing to remember is when Lynette was in her prime, there was no women's basketball team, no consistent women's basketball team in America. So when the WNBA was created, Lynette came out of retirement at age 38 to play 2 seasons in the WNBA. She played 1 year with the Cleveland Rockers and 1 year with the Detroit Shock, where she averaged 5.7 points a game. Now, you probably have never heard of Lynette Woodard, but how dominant she was on the basketball court in college, in the Olympics, overseas, with the Harlem Globetrotters, it was amazing. It truly was amazing. Just sort of like looking back at some of the coverage of what she has done, it's kind of cool to see. And I would highly recommend you all Googling her and looking at some videos on YouTube, because there's a couple of videos about her. And it just, man, I wish that, I could really be able to see lots of video of her playing in college, because it just seems like she was an amazing player. It really does seem that way. For her impact on women's basketball, she was enshrined into the Hall of Fame in 2004. Now, my question to you guys is, have you ever heard of Lynette Woodard? What do you all think about what she was able to accomplish in her career, becoming the first Harlem Globetrotter as a female, and also just what she did with the Olympic team and also in college? All right, let's move on to the overseas update for the week. And this week, we're going to talk all about EuroCup, who are in the midst of their playoffs. Their quarterfinals will be held on February the 22nd and February the 29th. We have several teams that have made the quarterfinals. I'm going to go through that list. I'm going to butcher all these names. I apologize. I am bad at pronouncing some names, so bear with me. We have Lattice Montpellier from France, Besiktas from Turkey, the London Lions from Great Britain. You have Meghazi Kayseri, who I'm going to call MK. We have a team in Venice, which is in Italy. We have TT Riga, which is from Latvia. We have Galatasaray from Turkey. And we have Girona from Spain. And there are several WNBA players who are playing for these teams. For Besiktas, we have Dana Evans, who is averaging 25.1 points a game and 5.3 assists. We have Lee Yuru averaging 12.9 points a game and 9.8 rebounds a game. For Galatasaray, there's Alissa Smith averaging 23.5 points a game and 10 rebounds a game. Maisha Hines-Allen averaging 19.7 points a game and 13 rebounds. Kiki Herbert Harrigan averaging 8.6 points, and Tierra McCowan, who just joined the team. For Corona, there's Kelsey Mitchell, averaging 18.8 points a game, Morgan Birch, averaging 13.1 points a game, and Rebecca Gardner, who is back with the team and now is averaging 8.5 points a game. For the London Lions, we have Megan Gustafson, averaging 11.6 points a game, Timmy Fangbili, averaging 17.6 points a game, Carly Samuelson with 13.7 points a game, and Abby Myers with 5.6 points a game. For MK, there's Joyner Holmes, averaging 14.5 points and 8.5 rebounds a game. For Venice, you have Lorella Kubai with 7.1 points, Awak Kuir with 9.9 points, and Jessica Shepard with 23.9 points and 9 rebounds a game. Now here's the way the EuroCup quarterfinals work, is that each team plays each other twice, once at each other's homes. And the winner then moves on to take on the semis, which take place in March. And they have the same home and away format for the semis as well. And then there's the finals, which takes place in April. As a reminder, EuroCup is Europe's second tier women's basketball club, second to Eurobasket. All right, guys, that is the episode for today. It was a kind of long one, so I thank y'all so much for rocking with me and staying with me on this. I do appreciate everyone who watched this whole video. If you made it this far, shout out to you. You're a real one. If you have not liked this video yet, please hit that like button. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. We are on our road to 10,000 subscribers. So if you have not subscribed and you have watched this video, clearly you're interested enough. So please hit that like button. That would be amazing. I do appreciate y'all. If y'all have any comments about what I talked about in this video, please make sure to talk about it in the comments below. I really do love reading and engaging with you all in the comment section. Y'all, we have some big games coming up this week with South Carolina versus LSU. I will be doing a live stream, a pre and post live stream, and I will get those scheduled shortly. So join me on Wednesday for a pregame live stream to just sort of preview the game. And then join me after the game is over on Thursday where we can recap the game that was the biggest game of the year. All right, guys, that is the video. I thank you all so much. And until next time, guys. Bye.